I grew up in a home where I was taught to try to give and to help and to serve, and it's only been magnified as I've gotten older and recognized, the fact that life goes a lot better when you're nice to people. I mean, when you're kind to people. And the fact is, kindness multiplies, only multiplies when you give it away. Welcome to the Kindness Factor podcast, sharing life-changing personal stories of the transformational impact of deep kindness. Hosted by
Dr. Elia, the happiness doctor,
and Randy McNeely, the kindness giver. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be. I'm Randy McNeely, the kindness giver, also known as Captain Kindman. And I am joined today by my wonderful co-host, Dr. Elia Gourgouris. And I'm going to let him take it from here. He's the man in charge today.
So this is a complete role reversal because Randy is usually in charge of the intro, but this is the last episode we'll have where we're bicontinental. This is my last day in Greece, so my friend, I look forward to coming home to Colorado and being on the close enough time zones, like now when we're 8 hours apart. So today, just like we did a few weeks ago, Randy interviewed me. I think it's only fair and only kind to turn the tables and interview this really good man that I've known for over 20 years, my partner in crime when it comes to kindness. So my partner in crime, Randy McNeely, is a reformed cybersecurity risk professional turned kindness advocate. He's a co-founder of the Kindness Factor International LLC, a voice for kindness in the entertainment industry. He's also the co-creator of the Kindness Factor Human Interest television series and the co-host of this very podcast, the Kindness Factor podcast. Randy is also the author of the Kindness Giver's Formula 2.0, a 5-step guide to reaching hearts, changing lives, and healing the world through love. As she often likes to say, kindness is love in action. Additionally, Randy is the creator of the Kindness Hero Shop, which provides comfortable t-shirts and sturdy mugs with inspiring kindness hero messages, allowing kindness advocates to easily promote messages that inspire kindness. Randy is married to his sweetheart, an angel from Colorado, the father of 5 beautiful children. And how many grandkids, Randy?
We have 2.
Well, my friend, you and I have known each other for 20 years, but I think the world may not know you exactly. So this will be a unique interview. Kindness is, you truly are the kindness giver, and your whole life is all about kindness. What happened to you that you became a kindness? Like everybody has an inspiring story and a kindness hero. What's your story, and how did you arrive to be so passionate about making this world a better place?
It's an interesting story, or interesting in multitude of ways, in the sense that I grew up in a home where I was taught that it's important to be kind to each other and important to treat each other with caring and kindness. I was taught that. It didn't always happen. My father had some real challenges with being kind, and he made some serious mistakes. And I was often found myself on the defensive because there was a lot of criticism, a lot of leveling of unkind words and unkind actions, and just a lot of different challenges that went on there. And it caused me, to in that situation. I grew up in a situation where I felt like I always needed to do something to try to prove myself to my father, and it never happened. I couldn't do it. But through all that, my father made some serious mistakes and ended up being prosecuted. And I honestly, I look back and I think about those times, and through it all, if it wasn't for the kindness of friends and kindness of other people, kindness, love extended toward me, I don't think I never would have made it. I would have probably, I seriously contemplated taking my life more than once at that age, but because the love of love of friends and the kindness of friends, I kept going. They reached out, they put their arms around me, they lifted me up during those times. Now, I don't share that to for anybody to feel sorry for me. And we all have our challenges. We all go through our own university of adversity, and there's people that have been through much worse than anything I ever faced. And but that's just a kind of a foundational though from where I get the impetus to want to be kind because I was taught to be kind and I didn't necessarily, it wasn't exemplified in my home except for by my dear mother. My mom is, we always ask about a kindness hero. My mom is my kindness hero.
Mine too.
She, you know, she, I still to this day, I still remember all the long walks and talks. My parents got divorced when I was 16 and my mom went back to school and she was my best friend. We hung, we had each other and my sister. It was me, my sister, and my mom because all my older siblings were gone already, were out of the house and my mom was going to school and it was a really stressful time for her. She was trying to go to school and support us and so we would go on long talks. I had changed high schools and gone from a little tiny well, little tiny, they have 1,000 students, but from a 1,000 student high school to a 4,000 student high school. And she was my support. I was her support. We were best friends. We went on long talks and she always reminded me, what from the time I was a little boy through all those walks when we were older, when I was older, when to stop and smell the roses. We always stopped and smelled the roses. And she taught me that, to remember that it's important to look for the good things in life and don't sweat the small stuff. Those things to always take the time to value the simple things before you and recognize the good things that are coming. And I'll be forever grateful to her for that.
I'm just kind of curious, was your dad that way towards you specifically or towards your older siblings too and your sister? Or was it
My dad is
specific with you?
my dad grew up in a very authoritarian home and sad to say, my grandmother yelled at him and his brothers a lot,
Of course. Oh no, I'm
always
sure they'd come.
criticizing them. And
Yeah,
so
of course.
he grew up that way. And so he was pretty much grouchy to everybody. I mean, he did have his kind times. The number of times I can remember are not a lot, but there were, it's not like he was always on the rampage, but it was just it was very difficult growing up in my home and feeling like, you know, there was always incongruence because we were Christian, we are Christian, we grew up going to church and reading the scriptures and learning the gospel of Jesus Christ and all the things that it teaches about being kind and loving your neighbor and everything like that. We learned all those things, but it wasn't always put to best practice inside our home. There was a lot of contention there, and where contention is it's hard to have feelings of peace and happiness and joy. Not that we didn't. I mean, I can remember some good times and things when we have had, but there was a lot of heartache growing up there, and my dad, treated everybody, had real challenges treating people kindly. I mean, there were times when he could be very tenderhearted. He would help anybody. That's one thing I can say. My dad, despite being the challenged man he was, one of the reasons I try to be kind too is because of his. I mean, he was really grouchy in our home, but he would go out and help anybody. And I remember to this day, I didn't know he weighed over 300 pounds. He was a big
Oh,
man.
really?
He
Wow.
always struggled. He was always overweight. But to this day, I will never forget seeing him sprint down the street to help a man who'd just been hit by a motorcycle, just been hit by a car. I didn't know my dad could run that fast. I I can still remember it. We grew a big garden and it was always generous and giving food and fruit and stuff and things away. So I guess I have to remember that because I too often I forget about those things. And just as I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because that just
That's okay.
came back to my mind. And my mom was the same way. And so, in that sense, I grew up in a home where I was taught to try to give and to help and to serve, and it's only been magnified as I've gotten older and recognized, the fact that life goes a lot better when you're nice to people. I mean, when you're kind to people. And the fact is, kindness only multiplies when you give it away. It only multiplies when you give it away, and it does. And because I've tried, as I've striven, especially in these last 5 years, since I've really gone on a tear trying to be the kindness advocate, I've, had kindness
Well,
multiply.
let's talk about that actually. Yeah, let's talk about the last 5 years. And you and I just came back from speaking in Palermo, Sicily, at the 11th General Assembly of the World Kindness Movement with leaders from all over the world. So you get to travel and talk about happiness, talk about kindness. You've created this beautiful shop. You should see the t-shirts that he has. I mean,
I've got one on
let's
today
make sure
off
that
of
we
his,
promote the heck out of it.
real men
All right,
choose
let's look.
kindness,
Real men choose happiness. There you go. Oh, kindness.
kindness. Well, and I could easily just
Real men choose
make one that says
kindness.
real men choose happiness, because they do. And I've got real women choose kindness.
No, but I like the kindness more.
It.
Yeah. And for those of you that are listening, Randy truly lives, breathes, eats, sleeps, wakes up in the morning, and he's so laser focused on spreading kindness in his own community, spreading kindness through church, spreading kindness in parts of the world that often are, this world is in trouble. I mean, we see that all the time. There's so much division, toxicity, negativity, and so on. And what is the antidote? The kindness giver right here, the kindness advocate.
Well,
And when you do that, I know you're at your happiest. I've known you for a long time. When you're in the service of your fellow men and women, I know you're at your happiest.
When a wallet was returned just moments after it was lost, a purpose was found. This one act of kindness inspired the formation of the nonprofit Kindness Worldwide to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. Kindness Week Worldwide mobilized the entire community in York, Pennsylvania, featuring initiatives and playbook programs including blood drives, kindness cards, K-12 and college students embracing kindness, and an innovative means of community policing, kindness citations. If something so magical can happen in York, Pennsylvania, the same and other inspirations can happen anywhere and everywhere. Our Screen Scenes initiative featuring the Kindness Factor will showcase these many stories of kindness. Let's include your community among them. Kindness is the heartbeat of the world. Together, with your support, we can make all its hearts beat as one.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I want to step back from something you just said, because I am the kindness advocate, but I do that because, not because I'm anything special, but because the kindness itself, the act of giving kindness, as we know, it's love in action. And what this world needs, that song from the 60s, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Well, the fact of the matter is it needed it then, it needs it today, and it's going to need it even more tomorrow. And it's I this last 5 years has been quite the journey. I stepped away from a world where I was making, I call myself a reformed cybersecurity risk specialist. I was making really good money, and stepping out and being a kindness advocate, it has been more of a challenge in that direction. And I'm not going to talk about the finances and other things, but it's been an adventure. It's led to some interesting challenges, and also opened up a lot of interesting doors. We just had the chance, like you said, we had the opportunity to go to Palermo and to speak at the 11th General Assembly of the World Kindness Movement. Both of us had the opportunities to talk about kindness from different perspectives, and the happiness and joy that it brings. And those things wouldn't have happened if I hadn't stepped in 5 years ago into the role of a kindness advocate. And we both, and think about it, we had a chance to rub shoulders with some tremendous people from different countries, people with all from all different walks of life, and yet we all have this one overarching unifier. And the fact is that we're all striving to bring greater love into this world by spreading kindness. And it's been an interesting journey getting here, but I'm grateful that I took the step to do it.
And I have to personally thank you because I'm on the receiving end of your kindness on a weekly basis, just because of the people you have found over the years for the show and the people that you've introduced me to. And my life has not been the same as a result of that. There's so many wonderful people that you have an uncanny ability to connect people around the kindness sphere. And it's growing. We're not in the same place we were a year ago. Obviously, we have a great partnership with Kindness Worldwide, and that's going to continue to grow.
Well, I think about that. I mean, Kevin Smith, the founder of Kindness Worldwide, saw a post that I did on LinkedIn last December. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you like to have a conversation? Because I'm doing some kindness stuff." And I didn't know him from Adam. And I saw a couple little posts. He had just barely started on LinkedIn and was just starting to grow his following. And I of course I said, "Well, yeah, sure. I'd love to have a conversation." And we talked, and of course, I mean, the rest is history. We had a great conversation, and we hit it off. And I said, "Well, okay, I absolutely have to introduce you to my partner Elia and my partners Elia Gourgouris and Elton Cahill." And he said, "Well, yeah, and I'll have my brother-in-law Michael Binko come on." And of course, you know what happened from there. We talked, we recognize the fact that we're all in the same heart space, and you talk about things expanding. Kevin is the connector accelerator, man. That guy, we both, I mean, think of all the people we've met just because of him. Because and the people.
It's really interesting, Randy. This morning, it's my last day in Greece. I met with the mayor of Delphi, Greece, which is the Oracle of Delphi going back. And he signed the proclamation endorsing Kindness Week, becomes the first municipality in the country of Greece to sign Kindness Worldwide. So I'm so happy. And this is just the beginning. As the newly appointed ambassador to Greece in terms of kindness from Kindness Worldwide, that's my first municipality, and I'm just getting started. So it's wonderful to see it spread so far away from, I mean, he's in Pennsylvania, you're in Iowa, I'm in Colorado, and yet kindness is universal and unites all of us. My friend, our time is getting close to the end. I need your pearls of wisdom.
I just want to point out
the big pearls of wisdom.
Two other quick things really fast about
of course.
Kindness Worldwide is you think it's in Delphi, Greece. We've got two wonderful ambassadors now in Australia. We've got an ambassador in Egypt. We've got
Australia.
An ambassador in Nigeria, and we've got ambassadors, in multiple places in the United States. Kindness Worldwide is growing. Kindness Week Worldwide is on November 9th through the 16th. It's coming up. Great things are coming. So just the kindness wave is rising, and we invite you to join us and catch it with us. Okay, so 3 pearls of wisdom. 1, every day, remember to be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with kindness.
That's so important. Why did you pick that as number 1, Randy? That's really important. Why did you pick that as number 1?
Because without kindness to ourselves, it's really hard to be kind to anybody else. If I am constantly having boxing matches with myself in my head, beating myself up, it's really hard for me to be able to focus have an outward focus and see and feel the needs that somebody else has. And also our body, our mind they are our production capacity. If we're not taking care of ourselves, our production capacity is going to go kaput. It's just like, you don't take care of your car, what happens to your car? Your car dies. Same thing with your body and your mind and your spirit. And so if you're going to be able to...
All right, kindness to self is number 1.
Yep. So the next thing is so I said kindness to self is number 1. Next thing is look for and act on opportunities to be kind every day. You never know when you might be able to be an instrument in bringing joy and happiness to somebody else's life. And also, the third thing is pay attention to the nudges. Literally, 15 minutes before I got on this call with you, I was sitting at my computer and I had a nudge. This friend needs your prayers now. And she needs you to reach out to her and just let her know that you've felt like you should pray for her. I did. I acted on it. I prayed. I reached out and let her know. I said, hey, thinking about you, just had the strong impression come that I needed to pray for you, my friend. Within 5 minutes, she responded. She says, how did you know? She said, I'm in a really tough spot right now, and I need those prayers. Pay attention to those little nudges. They come.
Yeah, then act on them. Then act on them.
By experience, I've learned that when I pay attention and I act on them, I can make a difference in somebody's life. So, number one, be kind to yourself. Number two, look for and act on opportunities to be kind every day. Number three, pay attention to the nudges that come and act on them. You never know when somebody will need you, and you will be the one that will be an answer to their prayers or to their needs right in that moment.
And we say that because with kindness,
everybody wins.
Everybody wins. My friend, where can people buy your stuff, your wonderful kindness stuff? Where can they reach out to you besides LinkedIn? I can't wait to see you. I'm coming home in like literally less than 48 hours. I'll be back in the US. So it'll be great to reconnect with you.
Well, looking forward to it. People can find me, of course, on LinkedIn. They can find me on Facebook. And the Kindness Hero Shop is www.kindnessheroshop.com. That's where they can get my t-shirts, mugs. And people keep telling me I need to put these cool capes on there. I don't have them yet, but that's a potential for the future. You can also find me on Instagram at the Kindness Hero Shop, and soon coming in the future, CaptainKindman.com. So anyway, that's something to think about.
Very nice.
Elia, I love you, my brother. I'm so grateful that you're my partner.
I love you too.
And thanks for taking the time to talk with me today.
Of course. We'll see you on the other side in a couple of days. Sounds good, my friend.
All right. To our audience, thanks for joining us today. You could be doing anything rather than listening to this. We really appreciate your time. And if you take a minute to think, what did I learn today? How is it applicable to me? And what am I going to do about it? And from now on, again, we got to say this one more time. With kindness, everybody wins.